Welcome to this week's video. This week I take my Volvo XC70 off-roading, probably where no Volvo XC70 has ever been before, and I also take it camping right next to a functional viaduct. Before I can get out there and have fun though, I had to do a timing belt job and install a skid plate on this thing though. There are timestamps down below though if you want to skip to the fun part. Let's get right into that timing belt. Alright, it's time. Time to do the timing belt. Apparently this job isn't too terrible bad, but I guess we'll see how bad it is for me today. Hopefully just today, but maybe tomorrow too. Let's get right into it. All right, we got everything except for just a few covers and the serpentine belt put back on. We're gonna try and start it. That seems normal to me. Sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds perfect. Well, I started about 4 and we had dinner and now it's 8:45, so it's probably about 4 hours, plus we're not quite done, so call it 4.5. And then I get to do the fun part, the reward, which is installing this skid plate here. I hope I'm not celebrating too early. So it seems to be warming up just fine. And while it does that, I'm gonna get started on the skid plate. It came with new hardware, so I don't have to worry about that. I just need to pop this plastic thing off and get going. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to clean up the coolant. My hair will now not freeze. Well, that was the fun part. That went on like a breeze. I did have a little issue with the one bolt you might have seen, but I think that's more due to that one tab that having an issue on my car. I think it had been bent from something. I don't know what could have done that. Yeah, this thing's warming up great. I think it's hasn't crossed the middle yet, so that's perfect. And now we got that under tray protection. We don't have to deal with that stupid plastic thing anymore. I think I'm gonna get this thing dropped back down and backed out of here. Well, all in all, that job, knock on wood, went really well. As long as I make it home, I'll stand by that. It's 10:10, so it took me about 6 hours, but I did stop for dinner and I wasn't really in a hurry, obviously. Well, let's see if this thing takes me home, I guess. Not before we get in some off-roading at the cabin, though. That's it for me tonight. I'm gonna go get this coolant out of my hair. Yet another occurrence of me having to apologize for or explain a lack of or just plain bad audio. In this case, it's a little bit of both. Sometimes I have audio, sometimes it's terrible. Essentially, the nice mic didn't record, so I'm stuck with the crappy audio from the crappy camera. Enjoy, well, at least as much as you can. What I would have explained before I got driving is that I'm out here at the cabin property. We're gonna go around and test out the off-road capabilities of this Volvo. I'm gonna do some hill climbs, drive it through some mud, see how it does. This time I have made the smart decision to air the tires down to about 20 psi. So I was explaining what obstacle we're at. I've driven the Volvo and my Subaru Loyale down this before, but never anything up it. It's a lot drier today though, so we're gonna try going up. As you can see, it went up no problem the first time, so easily in fact that I had to try it again. And this time I went a lot slower, and you can see it grabbing for traction, actually, the traction control system working. The next obstacle is right nearby. It's a very, very steep hill. There's no way to show how steep it really is on camera, but here's the car's attempt to go up it. The camera is placed at the steepest part right there, and as you can see, the car really did not struggle to get up it at all. I was carrying a little bit of momentum because I didn't really think it'd make it, so I actually returned to this hill later and stop right on the steepest part and see if we can get going. But first I headed over to the rock pit to see if it could deal with some of the really loose gravel, which is what you're seeing here. Following that, on the way to somewhere else, I actually veered off the road completely, unpredictably, and it happened to just be on a path here. And I happened to have set up the camera. Fortunately, I was able to veer back onto the road just a little bit down that path that I got so lucky to veer onto. Here's the car going through a ditch. Here's the car going through another ditch. And here's the car going through another even more different ditch. Finally, we returned to the original hill, where I went up it I think 3 more times, and so these are those 3 attempts. Can't forget about the last ditch before we get on the road. Well, I'm ready to go. It's Saturday around noon. Actually, it's 11:59 exactly. I think I have about a 2.5 hour drive to where I'm gonna get off the pavement and then see if I can find somewhere to camp that's kind of neat. Full tank of gas, that means we'll have to buy less fuel in Packwood where it's way more expensive. But I'm still gonna top off just to make sure I can make it to camp and make it out of the woods all fine. And if I get too cold or get stuck, I'll have heat. Always good to go into the woods with a full tank of gas. Let's get on the road. I got about, I think, 2 hours left till camp and about an hour and a half till Packwood, something like that. Seems like it should be further, but it's not too bad. I stopped at a local brewery and got some fancy brews, and I stopped at the market here in Packwood to get some snacks mostly. I'm really regretting not bringing the stove because I have plenty of time tonight to make a fancier meal, but I don't have the heat. I didn't even bring stuff to make a fire, so I'm just gonna be eating cold stuff. Anyways, time to get started crossing the pass. I'm looking forward to this. It's always a fun drive. Well, I made it to the start of the gravel. I'm excited. This looks promising. If you look over there, see a nice little map and everything, which indicates this is more of a recreation area than most places. I'm gonna start driving up into the mountains, see where we get to, see if I can find camp. Should be fun. So I've driven this route a lot of times. I've always seen this little line that kind of goes along the canyon that you drive down when you're going over White Pass. I've always wondered what it was. And well, today I didn't even mean to, but I found out. As you might be able to see behind me, it's a canal. Check this out. So this goes like all the way down into Yakima, I believe. And I've tried to look up information about it and I couldn't find anything, but I'm really glad to know now that it is still functioning. It looks like the road continues down a bit that way. There's more roads that keep going, so we could also go back up to the top of this road here. This is really cool. I'm glad I finally know what this thing is. So if I didn't have more time, I'd probably just camp right here. This is a pretty cool spot. It's right along the canal here, and also if you just look over this sort of cliff here, you can see the highway down there. So it's kind of neat, but I think I'd rather not listen to the highway all night. So I think I'm gonna move on from this little offshoot, knowing a little bit more about the area in the form of this canal. So here's where I'm at now. There's the road way down here. I think we're about almost 1,000 feet above it at this point. Gonna keep climbing, it looks like. I'm very glad I aired down the tires when I did at the start of the road. There's the road again, another couple 300 feet up. There's lots of roads around here like that one over there. Guess we press on. And looking at that, I cannot believe this thing made it through that. Look at how steep that looks. I don't know if you can tell on camera. My greatest limiting factor is definitely tires and ground clearance. I'm next thinking about going down this path, but it just does not look. This road has been closed to improve wildlife habitat. So I guess I won't go down that road. Unfortunate. There is a road that goes up, but it just kind of goes back up to where I've been. And so I just don't know if that's worth it. I could obviously camp here. I also have pushed the car quite a ways this far, and I don't know how far I want to push my luck. I think it would make it up that, but there's no way to know. And again, it just goes back the way I came, which is not the way I want to go. So I think I just don't have time for this. It's further than I've been already by quite a bit, and it's already been a couple hours, and I have about a couple hours till dark. So I think I'm going to turn around and go back up that road I just came down and then take a different route. Well, I found this little side road that's pretty well established, or at least it has been until now. I'm thinking I'm gonna camp up here if I could find a tree or two. As you can see behind me, it is just beautiful. A little breezy, that could be a little fun. So yeah, this road's a no-go. It's just getting rougher and rougher, and I'm not seeing a chance of it going into the woods. So I'm gonna move back to the main road and continue down further towards Natchez and Yakima, and hopefully find something along there. So I've gotten to this gate, and there's a sign on it that says gate closed 2 miles ahead. So it doesn't seem like there's too much point going into there. So I think I'm kind of limited to the campsites I've already been to. I guess I'll let you know which one I picked though. So I actually came up this road before. This is where I was kind of first thinking of camping. And I decided not to because of the highway noise and because I had time to explore. But we have returned. And I thought about recording it last time, but I didn't. And I should have, because this hill is steep. I want to say this is about as steep as the hills we were going up at the cabin, except there's a lot of loose rocks instead of it just being dirt. So I think probably this tree and this tree are 2 trees for the hammock. Well, let's get started setting up the hammock and then get on to relaxing a little bit. It's a little breezy, but not too bad. Well, setting up camp step 1, as Steve Wallace would say, I think it's time for step 2. Tonight, I've got a rather special step 2. This is the White Pass Pale Ale by Packwood Brewing Co., which I thought was, of course, altogether way too fitting, considering where I'm camping. I am excited to try this thing. Let's see how it is. It is shaken, is how it is. Ah. Man, that's nice. I've got to throw a jacket on though. It's chilly with this breeze here. Well, I think that's about it for me for now. I'm gonna hang out, play some Steam Deck, watch some YouTube, just relax and camp here. All right, step 2, number 2 is a Sasquatch Pirate Juicy Haze IPA from No Lie. Well, that's quite nice. Very sweet, sweeter than I thought. I think you'll be able to see this, but the moon is also nearly a full moon tonight, which is really cool. Let me turn off the light and pan down. Yeah, It's almost illuminating my entire camp. Actually, it is. Yeah, I hardly need a flashlight tonight. One of my weird hobbies is flashlights. They make some really powerful flashlights. This is a perfect place to test them because we're in like halfway up a valley, so there's a nice distance, and then there's a canyon to shine them at on the other side. As long as my camera doesn't fall over. It is windy. I am almost ready to go to bed just so I can be warm. But anyways, let's see if this works. Let's see if I can hit the other side. Oh yeah, that's lighting up the other side, no problem. Even up at the top there, it's lighting up those trees. Probably confusing the drivers down below. And then this has the same LED in it, but it has a different type of optics. Ooh, we can't quite hit the canyon on the top on the other side, but at the bottom we can hit it. But just barely. This has a much wider beam pattern, so it's better, you know, in most scenarios. But if you really want to impress someone, mostly myself, you use this one. Because yeah, I can see those trees up on the other side pretty clearly. Well, like I said, I don't know if you could see any of that, but letting some of my nerd free, and these are some freaking cool devices. All right, I'm cold enough that I'm gonna get in the hammock and see if I can warm up, maybe play some Steam Deck, watch some YouTube. Well, I laid down and my tarp came loose, so I've got to get out of the hammock and reattach this. I knew that was a chance. I didn't do that corner very well. But yeah, this isn't gonna work. Getting that fixed was not entirely all that fun, but there is a tarp over my head right now, so that's good. I'm in my bag and my sleeping bag liner, and I'm already warming up. I think just being inside the hammock, having a windbreaker is really helping. I haven't had any strong gusts of wind yet, but I think the tarp's gonna make a little noise. I'm gonna get a gaming and get to sleeping within an hour or so. Good night. Morning. Not gonna lie, that was a bit of a chilly sleep. I'm gonna get out of here and get packed as quickly as I can so I can get into the car and get warm. Plastic thing you hear rubbing is one of the rear fender pieces, and it just came off, except not completely, so it keeps rubbing. I don't think it really does anything, so once I get a chance, I'm gonna have to rip it off completely or try and reinstall it. Today is part of a healthy breakfast. Got a NOS Zero. I really like NOS, but I don't really drink full sugar energy drinks, so I'm always kind of happy when I can find one of these. Now it's time for the morning routine of airing up my tires. Alright, it's 8:30 and I'm ready to go. Got about a 3.5 hour drive home, should be home around noon. Well, I made it home with no problems. Must have done a good job on the timing belt, I guess. Time to unload this thing and get some rest. I'm pretty tired. I didn't sleep too good last night because it was chilly. Well, apparently I was too tired to even record an outro. I just closed the garage door on the camera and went inside. I didn't even quit recording. That's it for me, though. Stick around to the end if you want to see a sneak peek of my new toy. If you enjoyed seeing what I was up to over the past week, you might consider hitting that subscribe button to see what I'm up to in the future. And hey, if you don't like what I'm up to, you can always hit it again and unsubscribe. If you really like this particular video, you might hit the like button. And if you didn't like this video, then hit the dislike button and leave a comment telling me what I could do better in the future.